And we're live, brother. How you doing, man? I'll tell you, it's a 2-beer night. One for OU's loss and one for our win.
Damn, I just I took my top off. I was getting hot. Thank goodness my blood pressure medicine works. We probably had the less stress-free game that we've had in 10 years, and now we probably had the most stressful game we've had in a while. But hey, a win's a win. I think if you look at it, and I think you may talk about it a little bit. This year is if you go and look at the scores today from majority of the games, you can tell the offenses are in front of the defenses. Hell, the national championship LSU Tigers lost at home to Mississippi State. Florida gave up 35 to Ole Miss at home. They had to score 51 to win. So I just think that these offenses are so far ahead of these defenses. I don't think there's so much of an excuse. There was a lot of missed tackles out there. I think there's nothing else that frustrates me more than that on Saturdays is the missed tackles. But hey, when you have an opportunity to show up at the end of a game, 15 points down with 3 minutes left, and you do what you need to win, we're now 2-0, and our guys up north are 1-1. So, what are your thoughts, man?
Dude, it's so crazy, man. So, like you chronicled, Sam went 27 for 40, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's thrown 10 touchdown passes and 1 interception in what would be 6 quarters of football. And it was an absolute no holds barred, going back and forth, special teams plays. I have no idea. Like, rationale for football is I don't know where it's at, dude. I really can't. I can't fathom it. Just like I couldn't fathom, Kansas State walking to Owen Field today and beating Oklahoma. But it happened. You know what I mean? And that's when you take a step back and figure out you really don't know what you got. I feel like we knew we had the athletes to compete. That's why with 3 minutes left and a 15-point deficit, I felt like if we get the ball back, we would score. Did I ever think we would get an onside kick and then go down and score again and get a 2-point conversion and send it to overtime and win in overtime on the first possession? Absolutely not, dude. But that's I think 2020 in a nutshell, man, to be honest with you.
After I called you, when I was like, damn, I don't know what to think. I think it's the first thing that came out of my mouth. I was like, how the hell do we even get on here and do a post-game show? And you were saying that we're going to obviously have to wait a little bit, to probably get the frustration out and then start a little later. And then you were like, hey, don't worry about it, man. We're Dallas Cowboy fans, obviously. So he's like, hey, we've seen what happened last Sunday. And I called Jeremy right after that 2-point conversion. I was like, damn, you called it. And then I forgot that there were 40 seconds or whatever was left on the clock. I had forgotten about that time altogether. And I was like, I turned around and I'm like watching them throw it down the sideline. I'm like, and he stepped out of bounds. I'm like, wow. So kind of where we're at, man. And I was just telling Jeremy, I was like, the total offense for Texas Tech doesn't match the points they scored.
Nope.
If you look at it, if somebody's going out and scoring 56 points, man, you're looking at probably 650, 700 yards of total offense. They got 441 yards on 76 plays at 5.8 yards per carry. And he only threw for, how much did he throw for? For
325. Yeah, 325 on 31. Yep.
On 52 attempts and threw 3 interceptions. It was an ugly game. It was an ugly ass game, but it could have been worse. There was a couple of times that the defense was put in a position where they had to, come back on the field. One being after that, that onside kick that they recovered. They came out, they got an interception on both of those quick turnaround things. They came out, got the ball back for us and allowed us to come back here and score. And then it was a positive at the half that you had, 2 turnovers, and off those 2 turnovers, you had 14 points, which I'm not used to either with Texas teams. Usually they get a turnover, somehow they go down and score 3 points or whatever the case may be. So we were 2 for 2, I think, on the first half on turnovers and points, man. And then it felt like we were just kind of imploded or something in the third quarter. We imploded,
I felt like it came too easy to us on offense. And I think Mike Yurcich didn't come back in the third quarter and evolve like he told us he was going to evolve. Like he tried to run the same shit, same, wide receiver screens that we've seen. I saw, comments on Twitter that feel like Tom Herman grabbed the playbook from Mike Pearson and said, hey, let me grind this thing out the last 2 quarters and start running wide receiver screens and belly plays when they really didn't have to. But that is to say that we still scored 63 points, and when's the last time a Texas team scored 63 points? 56 within regulation and 63 in an overtime. A long damn time ago.
Long time ago. And again, like, and I don't know if you talked about this yet, but it's like playing the NCAA tournament this year.
Yep. Survive in advance, dude.
One game at a time. You survive, you advance, because you don't know what's going to happen next week with your COVID numbers. I think it's just really you survive the first 3 games. You get a bye, which I don't think the bye really helped us out this week either. Coming off a game where you did really, really well, and then all of a sudden you go into a bye when you just started the season. I don't think that helped, but it's also not an excuse. I'm just trying to figure out how we need to get back to the same tackling we had against UTEP that we didn't have against Texas Tech. And it had been upwards of damn near 50 missed tackles the entire game, which it honestly reminded me of that one reception reminded me of what CeeDee Lamb did to us last year in the Cotton Bowl when they got out the open. He's just crossing and just doors,
number 9 making shit happen. Yep.
Yeah.
Caught across the middle and made a dude miss and grabbed the ball and held it in their face and then ran to the pylon. Yeah. I totally agree. Yeah.
So, but kind of just going down these questions, man. I don't know about Bijan. I don't know about Bijan, man, but he that was nasty. He tried to leap over that.
He got hammered.
Yeah, realized, man, and neck twist back like that, and so I think some people are asking if he has a back injury. I'm not sure. He got up and ran off the field on his own, but Quincy brought up a good point, man. Texas has a mature team. That's the only way he was able to pull this out. Again, if you go back to, and I might have to go get one of those here in a minute. One of those things you have there. I wasn't prepared.
I'm not gonna hide it, dude. I'm not gonna hide it because
I wasn't prepared. It's like, Jeremy, you want to do one in 30 minutes? Yeah, I'll do one in 30 minutes. I'm actually using my old studio here. I just kind of threw the computer here and pulled out the microphone and went to work. So I may have to go get me something to drink here in a minute. But it is about maturity. It's about, you have a team that's made up of a whole bunch of juniors, really, from that 2018 class with some true freshmen or really redshirt freshmen and true sophomores sprinkled in there. But I think you're right, man. But if you go back to the original, what was it? The games that we kind of went through podcast.
Yeah, our preview. Yeah.
Our preview. Yeah. Some of you had Texas Tech was the place I didn't want to go play.
Yeah.
I don't know why Lubbock does us the way it does. Oklahoma State scares me, but for some reason Texas, going to Texas Tech, going to Lubbock, I'm just glad we got that game over with. It's done. You've been tested early. You see what your guys' resolve was. Obviously, you need to go back and fix your special teams mistakes that you did have. It's like, damn, Jamison. It's like,
no, it's disastrous as Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman were the whole game. They called it that Texas doesn't play well in Texas Tech, and we haven't lost there since the Crabtree game. But it's never an easy game, man. It's not ever going to be an easy game. Texas is a target for every team in Texas. We don't play A&M anymore. So the biggest team in Texas is Texas Tech, TCU, Baylor, and they're going to come after us, man. So Houston Baptist aside, we had to go to their place and we had to show up. And I will tell you that I know that the University of Texas football players didn't feel like they were going to be 15 points down with 3 minutes left to go. But guess what? When they found themselves in that circumstance, they found a way to win. Because we got the better athletes, and they felt like if we got the same way I told you, if we get the ball back with 3 minutes left and we can go down and score, and again, an onside kick is one of those things. If we're lucky enough to get it, they're not going to stop us. And we're going to get the 2-pointer, and we're going to go into overtime, and I feel like we're going to pull this game out. I never felt like the game was in doubt, and that's a sorry-ass place to be as a Texas fan, is to never think you're going to lose. But that's exactly where I was from the moment we kicked off. And that's exactly where I was on June 16th when we started this podcast. Is I think we have the best athletes in the Big 12. We have the ability to win the Big 12, and even down 15 points with 3 minutes left to go, I felt like we were still going to win the ball game.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to those individuals that we're going to probably talk more than we do answer questions tonight, but I definitely want to kind of scroll down and get your ideas and comments and so on and so forth. But hey, for those that haven't been on our show before, hey, appreciate you joining us tonight, man. I know this was a rough one. I purposely stay off of social media during football games because I don't do the skies falling things. I'm already a wreck as it is. But I'm kind of on the opposite side of Jeremy. I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to that, he talks about, hey, he felt just good about winning. I'm just me, like everybody else, has been burnt for so many years now. It's hard to want to be positive when you're in a situation where you are 15 down with 3 minutes to go. But again, it shows the resolve these guys had tonight. They'll clean up their mistakes. Definitely not going to change our burnt orange glasses for this year, because again, you're going to have these games where you're going to shit the bed. You just hope you don't shit the bed as bad as Oklahoma and lose to Kansas State, who lost to Arkansas State the previous week. So it's going to be an ebb and flow this year. It's going to just have its ups and downs. You just hope your guys come out and play the entire game like they did tonight, through all the mistakes they did have. Going back to this whole special teams thing, man, Jamison's either a make or break kind of guy, because I don't know how many punts he's muffed over the last 2 years, but it's quite a few. He's muffed quite a few punts over the last 2 years, so he's kind of like a make or break guy. I mean, it's just like at this particular point, just call safe punt on every one of these punts and get out of the way, especially if you think your offense can score.
Jake's the same way, dude. Jake's the same way. They pulled Deshaun last year and let Jake go out there and do it, and it was the same thing. It was heart attack every time.
Yeah, I think it's just safe punt.
Because they're so fantastic at what they do. They see the field in front of them. They want to grab the ball and they want to hit that hole and they want to hit the pylon to score. I'm kind of different from you, dude. It's like except when Texas Tech scores a touchdown off of it. It's because I feel like the same things that make them great and can make us score touchdowns against Oklahoma 45-35, Jordan Shipley, is the same thing that keeps me from saying just fair catch it and take the ball in 25-35. It's because I know at some point in the season we're going to need a kick return. And if we take that out of them, then I don't know if we're going to have that opportunity. I really don't. And want that. I want that threat.
So Sal brings up a good point, man. Texas put tons of film where other teams can attack us at. It's across that middle, man. In that defense that Chris Ash runs, the middle is probably the most susceptible on our team right now because of the linebackers we currently have playing. I don't know if you need to give up some size and push Chris Adamora to, especially against teams like Oklahoma, they're going to try to throw the ball down the seams and down. Do you just, hey, Chris Adamora, hey, we're gonna play you at linebacker and bring Cook in and let him play at that spur position just so you have more really bodies to be able to play. In the defensive backfield, I don't know what the answer to that is, but that is definitely something we're gonna have to fix going forward, man. Because if not, they're all gonna take advantage of this.
Again, an hour after the game, haven't looked at the film, have no idea. I'll go back and look at 44 and what I think he can do in that spot. Because I think you're looking for guys like Zero across the field to be able to cover and make those plays, to not get burned by slot receivers. Again, the same ability that we have with 7 and 4 when they're able to play, meaning Jake Smith and Jordan Whittington, when they're able to play, these guys have that same potential. And so they're putting slot receivers on linebackers the same way we want to do when 4 and 7 are healthy. But we didn't have 4 and 7 healthy for this ball game. Again, we scored 63 points. Again, found ourselves down 15 with 3 minutes to play. Never want to find ourselves in that position again. And I really don't think we will. I think we'll grow up in this game like you guys do. But, yeah, definitely want to go back and look at the film and find out if guys like 44, dropping 15 down, Chris Brown, dropping 9 back into that safety role versus cornerback role and sliding Jalen Green back and having him and Deshaun Jamison being your cornerbacks. because I think he's a Swiss Army knife. There's guys in the secondary who have multiple positions where they can play, and just getting those best 6 on the field.
Hey, they're going to have to get it fixed. We got TCU coming in next week. We don't have to wait 2 weeks. That's good. We can get this one out, talk about it, get it off our chest, kind of get rid of the sky's falling, understand that we're going to be 2-0. The ranking's probably going to like us this week, but who gives a shit about that? It's really trying to go 1-0 each week, man, and try to, again, I talked about it before. Oklahoma's in a situation, if you've heard me talk before, I think they'll lose the first 2 out of 3 games. They'll be out of the Big 12 running for the Big 12 championship. And I think it's going to be really between us, Oklahoma State, and hell, if Texas Tech keeps putting up points the way they are against us, they might be there at the end too. So, KD 35, this game could have been over fast if those Osai hits and Juwan Mitchell would have picked up for that ball for that touchdown. I like those plays, man. We didn't see those last year. There were so many opportunities where we, I counted so we had 3 interceptions? 3 interceptions.
And like 4 or 5 reviews that had to figure out whether they were fumbles or interceptions or not.
Yeah. Yep.
Behind the line of scrimmage plays where dudes that hit the ball at its hand. Osai had like back-to-back plays on the single series.
Yeah.
That's the kind of pressure you want to put on the quarterback, the kind of, like you said, the plus minus, turnovers to because, again, 6 turned into a touchdown. Yeah, it got reviewed and turned over. But those things are going to continue to evolve over the season. They're going to end up in touchdowns.
Yeah. Omega said it's Tech. They run the air raid. Look what the air raid did to LSU today. Mike Leach took that air raid into freaking Tiger Stadium down there in Death Valley in Baton Rouge and beat the LSU Tigers, man. So hey, it's okay. Sam's talking about 58 people watching, 56 now. That's what it looks like. I'm not sure. And he said only 14 likes. It's okay. It's one of those days where you kind of
take a deep breath. Somebody's going to eat. Somebody's going to barbecue.
Yeah.
It's Saturday night.
Yeah.
You're competing with all kinds of folks. Another game coming on. Like we don't look at it like that. We just love talking ball, man, and having our family here with us. But if there's new family members here that haven't hit that like button or hadn't hit that subscribe button, please do that, man. We're 68 subscribers away from 1,000, and it would really mean the world to us if we get that number by the end of the weekend. We work hard on social media. We work hard before and after the game during the week to give you guys the kind of coverage that you deserve. Again, this team is 2-0. Oklahoma's 1-1. We'll see them in 2 weeks, and I think we're well on our way to winning a Big 12 title. And again, woe is me, 63-56. You had to win a game in Texas Tech in overtime, but again, we've been here before, man. We've lost games. 2008, they played the highlights today where we were the better team and lost the football game, and it cost us a national championship appearance. I feel like we're the better team. We found a way to win, and we're going to continue to drive this train forward. Love you guys. Appreciate you watching. Go ahead, Clint.
Yeah, Mark kind of agreed with you, man. He said Jamison reminds me of Manu for the Spurs. Coach Pop would say you can't change the person. You really can't take away that thing that makes him special. And he's talking about Jamison in that
ball skills.
And I agree too. But it's just like you cringe every time. It's like because you either know he's got an opportunity to take it to the house because he almost took a kickoff to the house. But again, I'm not saying take it away from him, but it's like sometimes I'm like just throw your hands in there, say punt, put your hands back in. And then somebody else.
Let Sam do his work. Yep.
Yeah. Got 214 yards on the ground. 214 yards.
It's another 208 in the first game against UTEP. 214. Let me get those stats real quick. If you guys haven't heard, if you want to go through them. So Sam was 27 for 40 for 262, 5 touchdowns and 1 interception. So again, Sam Ellinger in six plus a possession, 6 quarters in a possession has had 10 touchdowns and 1 interception. Josh Moore on that throwback play really didn't complete a pass. Keontae Ingram 12 for 89, Sam 16 for 70, Roshan Johnson 16 for 43. Sam and Roshan got touchdowns on the ground. Going to receiving core, I had Josh Moore going into the game. I thought my what do you call it? The hot take was Josh Moore getting 200 yards on receiving yardage. But again, he only got 73 yards, but guess what? 3 touchdowns. And then Brendan Schooler 1 touchdown, Brendan Eagles 1 touchdown, and a very important 2-point conversion to send this ball game to overtime. INTs, Adamora, Brown, Stearns, all got interceptions. Kicking game, again, I think the punter takes a little bit too long to get the ball off his foot. You guys saw that, talked about it during the game. And Jadae Barron got a block kick for a touchdown. And Cameron Dicker 2 for 2 on field goals, along with 43, and 7 for 7 on extra points for 13 points. Pretty much covered the stats on the offensive side.
Yeah, Keontae ran really, really, really well. Really well. Yeah. It's 7.4 yards a carry. Yeah. He just seems more fluid than any of them right now. I mean, I don't know if Bijan just is not ready yet, or he just we'll see. And Roschon, he's always going to run hard. He comes in and runs really, really hard. 16 carries for 51 yards, like you had said at the beginning of the season. He looks like he's going to be the short yardage running back near the goal line and 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, whatever he's basically be. But yeah, Keontae 12 attempts for 89 yards. Sam had 16 attempts. He actually ran tonight. 16 attempts for 88 yards. And then Roschon had 16 carries for 51 yards. So you'd hope that Sam, at some point, you need him in the run game. He's special. He brings that to you, especially when all those DBs are back. They turn their back to him. He sees it, and he just takes off down the middle of the field and he gets you a quick 10, 12, 15 yards. It was a total of 240 yards on 48 carries. But then you had, your net losses from the sacks, which those sacks in the third quarter, the beginning of the fourth quarter, weren't so good. You got the ball to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 receivers again and a running back.
Yeah, it's never going to be a thing.
Yeah.
And with Jake and Jordan coming back, it's going to be even better than that. So, yeah, ball distribution is not going to be a thing for Mike Yurcich. What I don't like is 7 for 15, Texas Tech on 3rd down.
Yeah.
Again, you got them to 3rd down. Things that haunted this team for the last couple of years was you got them to 3rd down, and many times 3rd down and long, and they were 7 for 15. Again, total yardage, Texas 476, Texas Tech 441. They outpassed us 325 to 262, but again, that's probably because they were trailing most of the game. Yards per play, 6.4 to 6.4. Damn, penalties, dude. Texas, 10 penalties, 100 yards. Texas Tech, 4 penalties, 15 yards. So, again, we got to clean up. A lot of those were pre-snap penalties, too, and holding penalties. Got to clean that stuff up, man.
Clay Stewart said, historically, weird things happen in Lubbock. We're in a pandemic, and it was the first road game. Great teams find a way to win. Absolutely true, man. Absolutely true.
Rat dog.
I think I wondered if he sure is. My son's in here tonight, by the way. Y'all give him a shout out there. Stratton Lockerbie there. He said we need to stop missing tackles and be more aggressive in the secondary. I don't know if the tempo didn't get both teams. Going into your second game where you've only played 2 real games, not a lot of spring, not a lot of summer, going into the fall. I don't know if tempo played a point into both sides of it, because you're going so fast, but then the other team defense comes on, they're going so fast, they're off the thing, and it just keeps teetering back and forth. So I don't know if we got to figure out how to kind of get away from, maybe not using tempo as much within these first couple of games. Because
recognizing like the play-by-play dudes did. Like they knew that Texas Tech did need to take the ball. Like they wish they took the ball. It almost felt like that Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman, an OU guy, were cheering for Texas Tech at times because they were like, when overtime started, why is Texas Tech not taking the football? They're so tired on defense. Texas scored 15 points on them in the last 3 minutes. Why would they put their defense back on the field? But guess what? They did that. And guess what? We scored, and they didn't score. So, they recognized when the defense for Texas Tech was tired. I really felt like the same way in overtime. Our defense, when they got in the 3-point stances, they were fired up, man. Like we got to 3rd and 14 really, really fast in overtime. And so, yeah, it's like you got to look at the guys' faces. You got to look at their hydration levels. Again, you're sequestering them. This football season is like none other, man. Like you don't have a roommate on the road. You don't have guys that are holding you accountable, like for your eating habits or your hydration habits. And you walk on the field on Saturday and you get after it. So, yeah, it's a football season like no other. So,
yeah, can you tell me who the leading tackler was?
I would say it was probably 0.
BJ Foster.
Really?
Yep. Says a lot, man. Says a lot. Guy walked out, 3rd quarter, last game, was frustrated by his playing time. Comes back this week, obviously showed up, went to work, during practice over the last couple of weeks. 5 solo tackles, 2 assists, 7 total tackles for BJ Foster tonight.
Kind of guys you want in your program, man.
Yeah.
Not last week's part, but
yep.
the resiliency and hey, I'm going to show you that I'm the best player in this position and get after it again.
Alfred Collins had 2 solo tackles, 2 assists, and tackle for loss. Quan Graham had 2 tackles for loss tonight. Overshown made a nice play. What was in that 4th quarter? Big stop. I think was it Chris Adam? No, it was Jamison missed that guy in the backfield, and Overshown came up and made a nice tackle on him. No, KD, we ain't gonna throw away the rugby tackling yet, man. We're not gonna throw it away yet. Give it some time, man. Give it some time. Let's not throw it away yet. Let's stick with one type of tackling. Chris Ash is gonna hammer that home this week, and we'll see what happens at TCU. But again, actually, who was it here said something? Mark Leopard said the defense didn't play bad. Special teams gave away 14 points. Yeah, I just think that the defense was put in some vulnerable positions at some points, but yeah, they definitely got to clean up some of those mistakes they had. They got to figure out how they're going to cover the middle part of the field and then minimize these tackles for loss. I mean, these missed tackles. Tyler, my stress level was through the roof as well. Said his neighbors heard him on that last interception last night. I think if my neighbors would definitely hear me as well. My wife gets a little annoyed at sometimes by my screaming and yelling. Noah said Bryce Foster's at the Aggies game. Yeah, I think his parents were Aggies.
Mm-hmm.
You scrolling through here?
Yeah, I'm looking for sacks and tackles for loss. Man, it's fun, man. It's a roller coaster, but man, it's fun.
I'm gonna tell you, roller coaster. You ready for this? A&M is up. A&M Vanderbilt. Ready for this? 7-5 at halftime. 7-5 at halftime. Yeah.
Vandy. Wow.
Yeah. It's almost.
You don't have problems. You don't have problems.
It's telling you. Last person on the island type deal. Just survive.
I'm happy Bryce Foster's there for a 7-5 A&M lead at halftime. Maybe he'll join his brother.
Updates here on some scores. Alabama's 28-3 over Missouri. Miami currently 28-3 over Florida State. Florida State's actually missing their head coach on the field. Tested positive for COVID. Tennessee's up on South Carolina at halftime, 14-7. Virginia Tech's up on North Carolina State in the second. Just going down and looking at some of these scores. Louisiana, who beat Iowa State last week. barely survived Georgia Southern this week. Obviously, Kansas State 38-35 over Oklahoma. Florida State had to score 51. Florida gave up 35 to Ole Miss. Auburn over Kentucky. We survived.
It's crazy, man.
What's that?
I'm telling you, it's crazy.
Yeah, Quincy, man. Epps showed up, man. He showed up. It's we give him a hard time for not playing hard. When he somebody said earlier, you'd hope he'd play like Basher, 6'6", 216. But when it was time for him to come out there on that onside kick, he showed up and recovered it when he needed to. Yeah, Iowa State over TCU. LSU lost. Yeah, LSU lost to Mississippi State. They had that air raid on today.
44-34. Yeah, and then Sam says that Georgia was up 7-5 on Arkansas. Georgia won the football game 37-10. Probably a link to the A&M versus Vanderbilt score at 7-5, but again, that's the final score. Like to see where that ends up. Again, I'm not impressed by A&M at all. A&M's probably not impressed by us after this performance, but guess what? We're 2-0.
Yeah, I said the same thing, Sam. He said BJ had some missed tackles. Sometimes he's like a missile. Sometimes he's flying in there with his head down, and he'll miss a tackle or two. But like he said, it's nice to see that he gave full effort after him obviously with that controversy of him leaving the team and stuff. It's nice to see him come back and show out the way that he did. We definitely need to have more DBs on the field. We definitely have more DBs on the field. You can tell by how many tackles, because defensive line really, if you look at the tackles, defensive line didn't have a lot of tackles.
None. That's what when you started talking about it, that's why I was looking at it, because I wanted to figure out if 25 led the team in tackles, where was everybody else? And then there was 0 in a linebacker core or defensive line. It was Foster, then Mitchell, Adamora, Stearns, Brown, Thompson. It was all defensive backs. And then you finally get to Collins, who's 2-2, Graham, and then Overshone, then Jomo, and Osai. But you have to get 5 deep to find the front 7, essentially. And I think it's because they were passing the ball so much, man. Like, I want to go back and look at the run attempts. Run attempts were 24 to our 48. 24 for 116. So, again, 76 total plays, 24 rushes, 52 passes. So you're always going to be jaded towards the back end.
Somebody asked why Cortez.
Yep.
Yeah. Why he didn't play enough, and I think it's just a scheme thing. Again, Tech's killing us over the middle, and I don't know if it's, I don't know if he can defend, do well in the secondary or not. But that, again, that's that piece. They knew that they could come in there and get us, because if those linebackers don't drop back far enough in coverage, they could get you between that safety and that wide receiver. And again, we have to go back and look at this game again, which is going to be difficult to be able to tell you exactly what it is. But Mitchell played a lot. Jalen Green played a lot. Travis asked, what was it? No, Rich Talent asked, or what happened to the trajectory of Jalen Green? I think Jalen Green played a lot of snaps at cornerback tonight.
Yep. I would definitely agree with that. Like Adamora, Green, Jamison, Cook, they were all on the field. Like, we don't have the snap counts in front of us, but I felt like they were on the field for most of the ball game.
Victor says O-line played horrible, couldn't block 3 technique. or 3 guys rushing.
No, they didn't. They didn't. That was disturbing. Yeah, that was the most disturbing part of the football game for me because we've talked about 10 personnel and 5 dudes on 3 on a 3-man rush, and they couldn't figure out a way to stop it. And I think it's 78, dude. 78 has to find his way off the field, man. And I never talk shit about Kidd, but 78 is the weak link in this front 5. And that's without going back and watching the film because I know he had penalties. He had pre-snap and post-snap penalties, and he couldn't block. He didn't understand what was coming at him. I think the answer is to move to 70 down inside or 73 down inside and put 70 at right tackle. When I say 73, I'm talking about Isaiah Hookfin and 70 is Christian Jones on that right side line and figure out what the hell you got. Because at this point, 78 hasn't gotten. He's a senior. He's getting you beat, dude. He's getting you beat.
So Rich is again. I don't. This is where it's weird, right? Because again, you had 240 rushing yards. 240 rushing yards. We're sitting here talking about how bad the offensive line is, and I don't know if they're.
It's the penalties more than the plays to me, dude. When you're holding, like I would go back and we're gonna have to go back and watch the film, but I guarantee you he has 3 holding penalties and three pre-snap penalties, whether they be illegal motion, false starts. That's the shit that gets you behind the chains, and that's the stuff you can't have. Like getting beat in the process of plays is one thing. Getting beat pre-snap is another thing. And 78 is a weak link on this offensive line, 100%.
And somebody said, where's it at? Rich said L.J. Johnson can't like what he saw from our run game. L.J. Johnson, if he was on a team where they had, one running back like some teams do and don't bring in other running backs, he would probably have 28 carries for 177 yards.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, when you got Sam and Roshan and Bijan and Keontae, and they're all willing to – because, again, you walked out of this game 63-56, as shitty as it was, with a win. And you didn't hamper any of your backs. Yeah, Bijan got twisted backwards on a hit, but they're not any worse for wear, dude. Like, they're ready to go at TCU on the 3rd of October like they walked into this football game. But at the same point, I think we got to call it spade to spade. If we're going to cheerlead for the defensive backs and they give up 63 points, then we got to call it spade to spade on the offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely holes on that offensive line. I think it's 78 is where it starts.
They're going to go back and fix this stuff. They're going to figure it out. They're going to go back. They have a lot of tape to watch. They have a lot of plays to watch. But again, it goes back to this. If you're a running back that is wanting to come to the University of Texas, you already have the idea that you're going to be in a package deal. That's it. That's the way they're selling it. They're not selling it, okay, you're going to go out there and you're going to have 25 to 30 carries a game, because that's not who Strand Drayton is. It's definitely not who Tom Herman is. These guys are, rotational running back dudes, man, that want to share the carries. And again, if you're a running back coming out of high school and you have an opportunity to come play for a team that scores 63 points, I don't know what to tell you if you don't want to come play for a team that scores 63 points.
He had a shitty day. They had a horrible day on offense, dude.
They had a horrible day.
They had a horrible day.
It still scored.
You were talking about.
So if you take away what the pump block, if you take away the pump block, it was an ugly game. He scored a horrible game. 56 points. The offense scored 56 points.
I think that was a compliment.
Yeah,
I think that was a compliment. DWD said Jeremy's going to lose it on the offensive side of the line. That's why I said Jeremy was going to lose it. The right side was getting blasted. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's 70. I think it's 78. 78's a problem, dude. He doesn't have the ability to understand when stunts are coming at him, and that's the shit that got us beat last year at Oklahoma, man. Was dudes who didn't realize, and I'm not picking on Parker Braun, but he was in a run-oriented offense at Georgia Tech and didn't understand how to pick up games. He didn't understand stunts. And again, I would never call it a kid on live air unless it was absolutely necessary. But that's the kind of stuff that we have to fix before we can consider ourselves national championship material. 100%.
And Rich said it like this, man. We should be hungry after this one. You damn right we should be hungry. You're 2-0.
Oh, I'm hungry.
half the conference has a loss to include the one that was supposed to that's one
to win the damn thing.
So if they're not hungry, we have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Do we think as a team does the team have things to go back and work on? Hell yeah, they do. And maybe instead of between this is why I didn't like that bye game. You know, you went to you had UTEP come in, you beat them 59-3. You played really, really well. You had a bye game, and usually from the first game to the second game is where you make your biggest leaps. I don't know if that bye game didn't hurt us, right? But now maybe we have the biggest leap from the second game to the third game when we have TCU back at home again. You know, got TCU at home, who just lost to Iowa State, and then after that you go to Dallas to play Oklahoma, who's already lost the game, who have to go play at what? No,
Iowa State.
At Iowa State this week.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Go win, dude.
Yeah.
Go win. They found out a way to pull this one out. I feel like they're going to find a way to pull out TCU. I feel like they're going to find a way to pull out Oklahoma, and then it's another bye week. We'll be getting this whole shit show again, dude. Like to try to play this off as another season, like any other, is an absolute travesty. That's why when folks were talking about woe is me, we're not playing very well against Texas Tech, and I sent that tweet out and said perspective. Texas has a 10-point lead on the road at Texas Tech, and Oklahoma lost 2 hours ago. Like, this season is like no other. So appreciate the fact that you found a way to win 63-56 at Texas Tech. As shitty as your performance was, you guys know as well as we do that they're going to grow from this performance and be better against TCU. Because you had the best talented team in the country, or in the Big 12, not the country, but the Big 12. And you're going to grow from this performance.
What was what passing yards? What was the yards per play on pass? Do you know?
Not very many. It was like 6.4 for both teams. And I got it right here for you. You don't have to look it up. I got it. You keep talking.
So I got it. 31-52, 6.3.
6.3. 6.4. Yeah. 6.4 to 6.3.
6.3 per
They were
10.
thinking, both teams were dinking and dunking, man. And the only time they found a play was when Vasher came across the middle and, like, showed the ball to every defensive back that Texas had on his way to the end zone, I feel like.
When's the last time we ran 90 plays? When was the last time we ran 90 plays? We ran 90 plays tonight on offense.
Probably never ever, dude.
90 plays. 90 plays. And again, I don't know if that is – it's obviously a plus because you scored all these points, right? But I don't know if it's a negative, man. If you're consistently – if the other team is running tempo just like you are, then you keep running your defense out there, you know, play after play after play, and they're going out there and running 76 plays. It's different to be on offense and run 89 plays versus being on defense and running backwards the entire time, not knowing where your opponent is and running 76 plays.
Right.
So I don't know if that tempo thing, if we need to kind of just figure it out and run it and then kind of slow down a little bit and run it and slow down a little bit. Because it's nice to score 63 points, but if your defense is running out there against an up-tempo team, they're at some point going to be winded. I don't know if that's what happened in the third quarter.
No, and that's why you go back and watch TCU. I think TCU might be a break for you. Like, we watched the Oklahoma game, and then TCU was playing the same time we were. Or no, TCU and Iowa State were playing the same time Oklahoma and Kansas State were. So I watched Kansas State versus Oklahoma. So, yeah, I'll definitely go back and watch TCU this week against Iowa State. But I don't know that you change, man. I don't know that you change at all. Like, folks talking about Texas finally showed up in the last 3 minutes, but guess what? That was good enough to win, man. Like I said.
Chris Ash is going to be fine. Chris Ashley's going to be fine. He's been doing this a long time. He's going to get these kids to play. This whole, you see these crazy ass people that want to tweet, fire
Chris ass.
Yeah. Stop that.
Come on,
Urban Meyer's not going to sit there and give this guy props the way he is, like on 4 different, like somebody said, I think Jeremy said best, man. If Urban Meyer's going to take a job, he's going to empty the bank to get Chris Ashley to go be his defensive coordinator. Bottom line. So y'all need to have faith in this. Yeah. Did we give up a whole bunch of points? Yes, we did. Did our special teams put us in our defense in vulnerable positions to give up points? Absolutely. But when they needed to bow their backs and get the job done, they got the job done. I think you have an opportunity to continue to grow. And what I mean by that is you put 2 brand new systems in place and didn't have an opportunity to really put them in place because they came in February. You didn't have a spring. You came in here. You were Zoom calling your 2 systems, and then you played 1 game against almost FCS opponent in UTEP, and then now all of a sudden you came into Big 12 play. Usually you have 3 games to work up to get into the Big 12. You don't have that. You didn't have a summer.
Nope.
Well, you think about it. You didn't have a spring. You didn't have a summer. Damn, you didn't have a fall. You didn't have any non-conference games, and all of a sudden you're going to Texas Tech to play in Lubbock and against a damn air raid team.
And that's why I feel shitty about banking on 78, dude. Is because offensive line is a position where you need continuity. And him next to 70 and now 68 changed positions from tackle to center. He didn't have that time to grow. Like he's had 14, 15 practices. And so that's why I feel kind of shitty banging on him. But at the same time, if you're looking for this team to be championship great, 78 has to show up as shit. You know what I mean? So this team has the potential to be great. Be happy you walked out of Lubbock with a 63-56 victory. And the woes me shit's got to stop. Because if you're saying teams that beat us are lesser than us, guess what? We beat a team that was lesser than us on the road, and Oklahoma didn't. That's the bottom line, dude.
Smoke Jones said we played a C- or a D+ game. Hell, I don't know if I'd give us that much. You know what I'm saying? He said we played a C- or a D+ game and still won. We haven't been able to do that in a long time.
Nope.
We would have fell apart. At 15 points, we would have fell apart. But Mike Yursich is that offensive coordinator that is not going to let off the gas, and he knows how to call these games. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at what happened in the 3rd quarter with the sacks and then feeling like we couldn't move the ball like we did in the 1st and 2nd quarter. And these obviously these coaches that are in D1 ball are going to make adjustments. But for him to be able to make adjustments on the adjustments they made going into the 4th quarter to get us in a place where we were to be able to win the game, that's what I want to see. If a defensive coach comes in and makes adjustments, what adjustments are you going to make to get us back to where we are? I think we went back to what we were doing in the 1st quarter, which was run the ball, flip it out to the side, let them get 6 yards down the run the ball, flip it out to the side. Because, again, people don't realize how much we really ran the ball. We ran the ball to set up the pass.
Right.
It feels like
that's why when people were when people are trashing about the run up the gut, I'm saying it's setting up something, dude, because it's always setting up something. It's an RPO. It's setting up play action to get Scooter on the outside or get Josh Moore on that post route or Brendan Eagles later on that 2-point conversion. It's never just running the ball up the gut just to run the ball up the gut and get 2 yards and go to 2nd down, dude. It's always to have their defensive end sinking in, have their linebacker sinking in, and you can beat them over the top, dude. It's always chess. It's never checkers. We should probably do a PSA first off, like tell people who we are and where we're from, because there's a lot of new names out here, dude. Like Tyler Ng, American Slang, like guys we've never seen before.
Yeah,
we appreciate you joining us, Sam Delessa. Appreciate you joining us, man. If you hadn't hit that subscribe button, please hit that subscribe button. If you haven't liked this podcast, please hit the like button, dude. There's 75.
Yeah, hit the like button because we came back and beat Texas Tech with 3 minutes left in the game. Hit the like button for that.
Yeah. There's 75 dudes in here and 37 likes.
Yeah.
Like, you're obviously liking it. You're watching it. You know what I mean? And if you are a subscriber, please tell somebody else to subscribe. We're young. We're new. Started this shit out in June. First conference game for me and Clint.
Yep.
Which couldn't have been more disastrous conference game. You want to walk into some lesser than opponent and walk out with a 45-point victory, but you didn't get that. You didn't get that. So But we're more than willing to talk about it after the football game. So,
Dave Williams, I agree with all three things you said. I'm going to disagree with you on the potential. Great is a invaluable word to me, meaning that I don't think it's hard for me to grade somebody on great, because if you've graded somebody on great, then there's no more, the potential to get better is not there. I look at it that, so you said that this team doesn't have the potential to be great. I don't think they want to see themselves as great, because then you lose the fire in your belly to want to be better each and every week. But I think they have the opportunity to be really, really good. But I do agree with you. The three things I was most disappointed with are the things I think you were disappointed with. And I think that was special teams issues, the lack of focus and tackling. Absolutely. I called Jeremy at halftime. I was disgusted. That's the only thing I wanted to talk to him about was the tackling, the poor tackling, and the inconsistency on offense, man. You went from being up 17-3, right? And had an opportunity really after a fumble, which you thought was a fumble return for a touchdown, by Juwan Mitchell to be up, and I think the inconsistency in the third quarter, we're going to have to fix that going forward. Starting out fast, we're doing really, really good. We get up on teams really fast, you know what I'm saying? And I think we need to consistently do that. But, coming out in the third quarter, it felt like we were kind of just in mud. I don't think maybe that focus, you thought you were up on top of this team and they couldn't do anything. And then all of a sudden they come out and score, I don't know how many straight points. But yeah, I agree with you on those three things. Those three things are what they're going to have to work on going into this TCU week.
But they fought and they didn't quit, dude. I feel like teams for Texas would have quit. 15 points down, 3 minutes to go. The last several years under different head coaches would have quit. They didn't do that.
Yep.
They had confidence in their coaches to put them in a position that they could win the football game, and they executed. Like, there was no doubt when Texas scored that touchdown in overtime and kicked the extra point, there was no doubt in my mind they were winning that football game. Just how the defensive line walked out and grabbed their 3-point chances, I was like, dude, they're so well rested. They haven't played since 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Like, they're ready to go, and they showed it. So
Friday and Truth said, I wish we would have we run more bump and run, more of a bump and run. And well, their jobs. Yeah. I think at least they're not 8 yards off the line of scrimmage like they have over the last couple of years. Again, it's a different scheme. These guys are going to overtime. I think they're going to get better in those schemes. And I don't want to call David Williams out about his three things he was most disappointed about without calling out the things he was impressed about. And he said the Texas won. The defense intercepted a very good quarterback multiple times, 3 times, and they did not quit. Again, that's, to me, that is probably number one thing, is that Texas over the last 10 years would have found themselves in that same situation on the road, and they would have figured out a way to lose.
Yep.
Hard losing. They would have figured out how to wait to lose. And that been Sam Ellinger throwing a interception in the end zone, a few years back. That would have been, not figuring out how to call the plays that you called in the first quarter that worked in the fourth quarter to win in overtime. And that's exactly what it went back to. What I seen was whatever that worked in the first quarter is exactly went back to the fourth quarter. Tyler Eames, he said, I wouldn't go that far. This team reminded me of 2005 Texas team with fight. I actually went back and looked at the 2009 schedule because I kind of wanted to see what their points per victory were. Those guys kind of ran away with a lot of they ran away with a lot of games. I think the closest game they had was Texas A&M at Kyle Field, and I think it was 39-29. I think it was the final score of that game.
Yeah, like you said, that this team. Go ahead. It's a season like none other, but I think they had the ability to do that. Like when you talked about they were up 17-3, they thought they got a turnover, they're going to return for a touchdown, and I thought if they got that call, that Texas Tech would have quit. The problem was when they didn't get that call, then they kind of rested on their laurels. Yeah, with a better football team, rolled their helmet out there for 3 quarters, and then had to grab their nutsack with 3 minutes left to go in the football game.
Yeah. You threw that out there. Okay. All right.
Hey, it's the truth, dude.
Under Charlie Strong, the team would have quit down by 7. Never too high, never too low. When adversity hit, just finish, hook 'em. Caden Stearns. And then shout out to those 2 picks after special teams disasters. I thought that was probably that was important to me. That shows me a lot about your defense and their ability to in quick and sudden change situations be able to do what they need to help out your to help out really the team. That goes back to that what we talked about, the offense helping the defense helping the offense. Unfortunately, the special teams didn't show up tonight. Digger, the kicker, helped us out a few times, but other than that, they were pretty hot mess. Tom Herman's first time being 2-0 as a Texas head coach.
Hey,
man, how about that?
Drink to that.
Yeah. Mark Leopard talking about Rattler's happy feet. Somebody actually said something earlier tonight on Twitter. It made a lot of sense to me. They said Rattler reminds them of Shane Buechele.
I read that. I did read that.
When he starts feeling pressure. And that's kind of and you start thinking about, damn, what does Shane look like? And Shane really looked like that. Like when Shane would feel pressure from the outside and inside, he would get happy feet, and try to figure out how to get out of the pocket when the pressure wasn't really there. And I've seen that a lot, and he's going to have to deal with that a whole bunch this year. I think Riley's in a situation he's never been in before, with a true sophomore quarterback, a redshirt freshman quarterback that's not coming in that has experience. Victor said, my Texas Longhorns stole the game like my Dallas Cowboys did against the Falcons.
Agree. Find a way to win, man.
I don't know. It was worse. Was it Tim Brando or was it the game? I couldn't figure out.
No, it was Tim Brando, dude. He was garbage. Like, I got so pissed off. He called Jamison Deshaun Thompson. He called, like, Roshan Johnson some crazy-ass name. Like, I was so pissed off. I'm like, dude, give me the mic, bro. Like, do you not prepare for these games? I don't know if they're calling from the stadium. I got a feeling they're calling from the stadium because I'm pretty sure I saw him and Spencer Tillman in the press box. But Lord have mercy. No, it's garbage. Straight garbage.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I'm a member of Inside Texas. Dave Williams talking about there was quite a bit of discussion on the site regarding Coach Yurchich and the possibility.
Yeah, Rashad Johnson.
He was not coaching today? More to follow on that. They would answer the inconsistency in play calling.
Yeah. I felt like it was Tom calling the game. Like, yeah, let's not go there. Like, I don't know. Because all that stuff would be speculation. Yeah, Rashad Johnson. Yeah, it was garbage, dude. Yeah, I don't know why Gus Johnson got the game before us. Oklahoma versus K-State. Him and Clatt got that game.
Even the graphics were messed up. There was one point it showed Josh Thompson in the they're going through COVID issues just like everybody else is. They're going to get their shit together. But I turned the TV down. I muted the TV pretty much the entire fourth quarter.
Yeah, I feel like Jay Young told me that in the middle of he's like, I feel like Tom Herman's calling this game in the fourth quarter. So, yeah, Josh Young, I don't know. I don't know what they know that we don't know.
Oh, I don't care. They scored 63 points, 56 if you don't count the punt return.
I'm happy.
Could be worse. We could be 1-1 and lost in Lubbock and going into play TCU at home, and your shot of trying to make it to a college football playoff is shot for good, because I think it's going to be difficult to have one loss in the Big 12 and make it to a college football playoff.
Amen, Mark. I told Clint I'm cutting my laptop down at halftime. Like this is the first time we've been doing this season, doing a season, being podcasters and not true fans. And I told him I cut my shit off at halftime. And I lowered my laptop. And if you guys didn't notice, I didn't have much to say on Twitter because it exhausts me, man. Like the webs and flows, the ups and downs. Your thoughts. That's why you turn down the volume and listen to Longhorn Sports Radio. 100%, dude. And I will never fall in that trap again. I promise you. Like the first half was a disaster for me. I couldn't focus on what I need to focus on to give you guys the best content post game, and it'll never happen again.
David said something. Texas must do something about opposing offenses passing the ball so quickly. The defensive line is very good and puts pressure on the quarterback, but they cannot get to him. It's those 3-step drops. Those like get out the ball as fast as you can. You can't get to him. The pressure's there. You can't get to him.
But I thought they did that. Go back and watch the overtime, though. Like when they knew they got it behind the chains on first down, and once they knew it was pass only, these guys will let – that's a problem for Rattler because I feel like 1 and 5, Pledger and McGowan, will not allow them to get big gains on first down, and then Rattler's going to sit back there, and he's not going to have that opportunity because these guys are going to chew his ass up, dude. The shit that bothered me during this game makes me really hyped for 10-10. I promise you, because we're going to get them in a second, third, and long, and then 99, 49, 93, and those guys are going to eat. 46 are going to eat.
I'm just glad we're not having a meltdown like their podcasters are.
I would never, I promise God, dude. Like Clinton knows me better than anybody. Like I'm not a troll. But I really wanted to know what R.J. Young was saying after that football game, and I mistakenly sent out the link to his podcast, and really was regretting it. Really was regretting it with 3 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, and we were down 15 points. But my kids bailed me out, man. Like the guys that I know on that program bailed me out. The character bailed me out. But yeah, I was a shit show. Confident shit show, but shit show at the same time.
Josh Moore, man, he reminds me of, and this is going far because I just don't, he hasn't showed it yet, but he reminds me of like a CD Lamb. He reminds me, and it's not really in space, it's just making plays when it's time to make plays. And I say
he's definitely he's 6. He's Duvernay. He won't drop a ball. He'll find a way to get open. It's a sophomore, dude. Go back and look at Deb Duvernay in the sophomore year. He didn't have any catches. This dude is Devin Duvernay. I don't know that he has the swing and miss like CeeDee Lamb. I don't know that he can make people miss like CeeDee Lamb. But damn it, if you put the ball in his area code, he'll make a play. And yeah, he's definitely going to be the security blanket for Hudson Card. Number 8, if that's where they choose to go, or Quinn Ewers in the next couple of years.
He's legit. Man.
Casey Thompson. I'm sorry.
Man. He is.
I told you, dude. I told you.
He is.
There's a reason why I chose him as my breakout player of the year.
I'm trying to figure out what happened to Tariq Black this week.
Tariq was hurt, dude. Tariq got hammered, dude.
He was hurt?
Earlier in the football game, yeah.
He's saying Joshua Young said Josh Moore needs to move to slot full time.
Yeah, 4 and 7 are healthy. I would be cool with that. 100%. If I got Tariq Black, 0/13, 6 in the slot, and then I got 4 or 7/4 as the X, I'm cool with that. Like 100%. I want 7, 4, 13, and 0 on the field as many times as I can get it. And I'm sorry, 7, 4, 6, 13/0 as many times as I can get it.
Scooter played the slot tonight.
Yeah.
Right? And I think he did a good job.
No, he played well. But I'm telling you, I would want 7, 4, 6, 0/13, and then 14 can be your mismatch guy.
7 receptions for 58 yards and a touchdown. Because they were talking about slot. The slot was open and
Tariq got hurt.
I thought Scooter played a hell of a game tonight.
No, he definitely did in a crunch, dude. Like to only be the program for like 5 weeks now, and to go and do what he did in this game, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm with David. I don't think Josh Moore's an over the middle guy at his size. I think he's playing right where he needs to play in the offense.
Yeah,
The way he got up over that kid tonight, man. He just makes plays.
Matchups, 4, 7, 6, 13, 0, 14. Find me the best matchup, dude, across the board. Schooler's big, 13's big, 0's big, and then 4, 7, and 6 are your smaller guys who can scat. Find me a mismatch. That's what I want.
Kind of going to go up here to David Williams real quick because he was talking about the linebackers, man. I agree with you on this, David. I think the more DeMarvion Overshawn and Jamon Mitchell play together at linebacker, the better the defense will react to quick passing offenses because you got two fast guys out there, man, that can move, but also can play the ball and run. I think that's important. Again, I think it's continuity, man, in the system. Continuity in the system, man. And I think each and every week you're going to see it get better. Again, I think you just played a team that just plays a different type of offense than anybody else plays. They were actually talking about it on what is it, the Big Noon Kickoff, about how the air raid is. And they actually brought in the quarterback for Texas Tech, USC offensive coordinator, Graham Harrell, was on there. Mm-hmm. He was talking to Urban about it, how Mike Leach's system is going to work in the SEC. And it's all about just they don't give a damn what the coverage is. They know where the space is on the field. They run to that space, and that's where the quarterback throws it. It's just a different offense that you have to scheme for. I think you're not going to see other teams in the Big 12 air it out as much as what Texas Tech does it. And tell me if I'm wrong, because Oklahoma is a run first team. I think every other team in the Big 12 is a run first team. And if you've seen what our defensive line does, the hell can't nobody run against us. I don't know how many yards we give up today. I think one long touchdown, right, for 75 yards.
Total yards was 441.
But rushing yards?
Rushing yards was 116.
And one of those was 75-yard run.
Yep.
The fourth quarter.
So, yeah, apart from that, it was 41 yards.
Yep. 41
yards on 23 carries.
Yep. One carry for 75 yards, man. So,
but God, that play pissed me off.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the worst play of the game.
It was because that's when you that's when I threw my hands up in there and called you, and I was like, "What are we supposed to do at this particular point?" You're like,
and I didn't know.
You're like,
don't believe in the guys.
You're like, don't worry about it. Hey, look what happened to the Cowboys last Sunday, man. Hey, just wait it out, man. And then all of a sudden it was 15 points, just like that, and then.
I don't know if I believed it. I don't know if I believe it when I told you that, though.
Again, there's three places I don't want to get on this. Three places I don't want to get on this week, and that's probably any other YouTube, Longhorn YouTube, probably any sites that got boards on them, or Twitter. I'm gonna stay away from those things for the rest of the week because I can't. I want to kind of take this as a victory. Somebody put over there a while ago, and I'm not gonna say what site they were talking about. They were like, "Hey, we appreciate you, man. You guys being positive." There's a board out there right now that's doing a live, and it's all negative. We can't keep going down that negative Nelly road. Yeah, we're gonna tell you if we see something wrong.
You won the football game.
Yeah,
you won the football game. Again, there was a team up north of the Red River who lost the football game at home, and this year. Again, we feel like we have the most talent in the Big 12. We'll never shy away from that. Did we play to our potential? Absolutely not. Can we be better? Absolutely. But guess what? We won the football game, and guess what? We'll be better for it against TCU. And when we face that team up north on 10-10, we'll be tested, and we'll be better for it. So,
Sam, we're not watching Longhorn Network. Obviously, we're gonna have to go back and watch that later. I'm pretty sure he was watching the post game with Sam. Sam said he didn't. That's not the way we wanted to win the game, but this was a perfect game to represent 2020. But we won. I think that's important. The rushing defense was good, with the exception of one play. Unfortunately, the defense missed 6 tackles on that one play. So. I don't know if we get Gus and Clapp for that TCU game because it's, as of right now, it's on FS1 at 2:30, right?
They haven't decided. It was a swing game. If they had won, it was going to be a 6 o'clock game.
I thought it was. Let me see here. Texas.
No, it definitely wasn't decided. As of today, it wasn't decided.
Well, hopefully we get that game because I can't listen to those other guys, man, anymore. A W is a W.
No, it's garbage. Straight up garbage.
2-0. I don't know. I saw a lot of play calling like last year, and I saw a lot of mistakes like we did last year. It was very disappointing. Can't wait to see this. I didn't notice they.
Can't be disappointed, Dustin. You can't be disappointed with a win, dude. You lost 5 games last year. You haven't lost any this year. Don't be disappointed.
David, man, we've been Texas fans for damn near 40 years, man. We have.
I'm telling you, dude.
Fans, regardless of how good or bad, how bad the team is, our expectations are extremely high. Our expectations are extremely high. That is why there's so much negativity when the team plays poorly. There's no team that's won a national championship in the last 20 years that hadn't had a poor game.
Nope.
I'm not making excuses for the way the Texas played tonight against Texas Tech, but they came out with a victory. And again, you don't know what's promised you next week because of the situation we're in. So you take every W you get and you look at it like it's an out game, like you're playing the NCAA tournament in basketball. You win,
100%.
You're still in. You lose, you're out. That's it. So believe me and Jeremy are angry when we talk to each other on the phone. When I call Jeremy at halftime, I'm angry. Jeremy's angry with me. Hell, I couldn't get a word in. I had to tell Jeremy, "Hey, be quiet real quick so I can say something." So we are passionate just like you are. Would
you rather be OU?
Yeah.
Would you rather be LSU? No, you wouldn't.
No,
those teams have no chance of winning a national championship. And I'm sorry for what you're saying. It'll probably come out in a podcast we do that's taped and not on live. Later on this week. Pac-12 has no chance of having a CFP representative. So guess what? You continue to win all your football games, and guess what? You're going to find yourself there. I can give 2 shits about what people say about a 7-point win on the road. Again, you're only favored to win by 17.5. And again, if you would have made some plays and special teams, you probably find yourself there. So I'm not going to ever apologize for a football win. I'm not. I'm thankful, and that's the way you guys should be too.
Yeah, David.
Guess what? This loss doesn't carry over to TCU next Saturday. There's no plays they're going to have you down 7 or 10 or 14 points against TCU next Saturday. Guess what? The game starts 0-0. Your football players are better than their football players, and guess what? You're going to go perform.
There's a lot of speculation about this Mike Yursich thing. You know, in Tom Herman yanking the play cards and all this other shit. I don't know about all that. I don't know all that.
And we really don't care.
It's going to be hard to get. Really, it was not. I don't. But again, why would somebody take Mike? I don't get it. But enough on that. It just keeps being brought up here. Like, I don't give a shit. Well, Tom Herman called a good game in the fourth quarter and got us to a victory if that's the case. And again, don't think that Tom Herman's not going to have some calls or some conversation with Mike Yursich throughout the game and say, hey, instead of calling this play, hey, call this one.
And guess what? They're going to be on the same flight back to Austin. They're going to be in the same meeting room on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They're going to be the same walkthroughs on Friday, the same hotel on Saturday, and get ready to play ball against TCU on Sunday or on Saturday. I'm sorry. Like, I don't.
But again, Mike Yursich didn't bring his offense in here. He didn't bring his offense. He's using Tom Herman's and Beck's offense and just added route trees to it. So there's not a change in the offense. The plays are the same. It's the power spread. Those wide receiver screens are part of the power spread. They're like a run, but just a pass, to get 5 or 6 yards. So, and Mike Yursich will tell you that he didn't come in to change the system. He changed parts of the system to include route trees.
Enhance the offense. Yeah.
To enhance offense. So you're going to see things that look like Tom Herman's calls from previous years. You're going to see things that look like Beck's calls from previous years. Because it's so, you've noticed it for so many years, you're going to notice in a game now. Wide receiver screen, I hated it, but it worked well tonight. Every time they do a wide receiver screen to the outside, they would take it for 5 or 6 yards down the sideline, and it makes you that much closer, 3 or 4 yards closer on second down to a first down. So I get it, man. What else we got?
Yeah, I watched. So Jabari, yes, I watched them board a plane from Austin to Lubbock yesterday. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they're flying back. And number 2, yes, Herman is the CEO of this program. So don't get it twisted. Yes, if Mike Yusich calls a play and Tom Herman doesn't like it, he's going to change the freaking play. Like, that's the way this game works, dude. Like, everybody has a boss. Don't get it twisted. But at the same time, I think that if Tom Herman handcuffs Mike Yusich in game 2 of his tenure as offensive coordinator at the University of Texas, we got a problem. And I don't think that's what happened. But again, you guys have a theory. You guys have an idea of what happened. I don't see it the same way.
Yeah, I think that's important, Dustin. I think that's the end all be all. It's really, hey, you see those mistakes, right? Hey, all those mistakes can be fixed. You just want to see them get fixed. And like previous years where you just kept on seeing the same thing over and over and over again, the same mistakes each and every week. That's what I want to see, the consistency of, okay, hey, we have a shitty game, but hey, we got mistakes. We need to fix them. How do we fix them? Do they get fixed going into the next game? I think that's important. I think that's really, really important.
And again, you're 13-point trailing or 15-point trail at 3 minutes left in the game. Doesn't care with TCU. Guess what? You're the best football team at home. Go out and win the football game. You're 3-0 going to Oklahoma.
So Mark said, Yusich called the plays. He was talking about it. Hoskanu, sorry joining late to the channel, but any updates on Bijan? That was scary, nasty land. It was nasty. It was nasty. But for him to pop up the way he did after his helmet pretty much went to the back of his neck, that was definitely a good sign. They're obviously going to, make sure he's good to go. They left
Andrew. One game at a time, man. Like, this season, like no other, it's like a basketball tournament. Again, Clint told you earlier, I equated to the NCAA tournament where you play 2 games every weekend for 3 weeks. Essentially, that's how their schedule breaks down. There's 3 games by, 3 games by, 3 games by. Dude, survive in advance, man. So you got through your non-conference game. Now you're going to have 3 games in a row. Texas Tech, TCU, Oklahoma. Survive in advance, take a week off, and figure out where you go from there.
Fantastic, man. So, hey, it wins a
Luggage,
win.
Dude.
Wins a win, man. Hey, before we get off here tonight, because I'm going to have to get off pretty soon. I have a dog that unfortunately had to go to the emergency room on Friday night. So I gotta go help my wife with her. But before we get off here, hey, if you haven't listened to us before, welcome to the family, because there's a lot of guys here tonight that we haven't seen before, and we appreciate you listening to us. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be nasty. Me and Jeremy are very passionate about Longhorn football, just like you guys are. We don't like ugly, but an ugly victory is better than an ugly loss any day of the week. So this week we'll obviously put out it's almost too difficult to put to give a scorecard or a report card on what you've seen tonight without us actually going back and looking at a 63-56 overtime win against Texas Tech and Lubbock. So we owe you that this week. Probably be out, probably a 2-part Monday and Tuesday. There's probably gonna be a lot to that. And then obviously media availability with Tom will be important. And then obviously going into TCU. It's nice to have TCU at home this week. Again, I think the biggest thing we take away from this is just there's a lot of mistakes. Fix the mistakes going into week 3. Be glad you're a team that got a victory this week, because there's a lot of teams in that top 5, top 15 that didn't win. Means you're going to move up in the ranks a little bit, ranking up a little bit, 2-0. But hey, if you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button. it just kind of gets people to if they see a whole bunch of likes on a live or on a recorded podcast, they're more likely to go to it. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. Me and Jeremy are trying to get to that 1,000 mark, and I think we're about 65 from that. But is the dog okay? Yeah. Oh,
Your dog.
My dog. Oh, my dog. Yeah, she's got a couple of stitches in her feet. She's a 6-month-old Shepnese Shepherd Pyrenees mix. She got a little excited in the backyard the other day, and she cut her foot on a piece of landscape edging. Now it's safe. It's like kid safe now. I put the plastic edging stuff over the top of it, so she couldn't do it. So she got a couple of stitches in her back foot. Got a nice little cone on her head. But got to kind of make sure she's good to go.
Yeah, somebody asked about Sam, but I can't get him over here right now.
Appreciate you asking about her though. She's like my baby. Iowa State. Where do they play?
Sam's climbing on the freaking counter over there.
Gene, just real quick, because Gene said something. Just found you guys. Love your show. Hey, I appreciate it, Gene. Thanks, man. I hope Yershik loses that throw deep into traffic call he ran so many times today. Yeah, that's part of who he is really the vertical game. Go back and look at Oklahoma State. Between 2012 to 2018. Go look when he had James Washington. He's a vertical guy. He's going to run, and then he's going to throw it over the top. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But if you got individuals like Josh Moore out there and Brennan Eagles who can go up and get the ball, Marcus Washington.
Got to test them. You got to test them.
Gets people out of the box too. Hey, thanks, Smokes. Said prayers for your puppy. Appreciate it, Smoke.
Let me give them one quick rundown before they get off here.
Okay.
So Alabama over Missouri, 35-6. Texas A&M leads Vanderbilt 14-12. 2:40 left in the third quarter. Going right to that one after this one. Miami leads Florida State 38-3. Tennessee and South Carolina 21-21. Virginia Tech 31-10. Kansas State beats Oklahoma 38-35. See you in 2 weeks. Georgia over Arkansas 37-10. Florida over Ole Miss 51-35. Mississippi State beats LSU 44-34. Auburn 29-13. In the game you all guys are looking at, Texas beats Texas Tech 63-56. And Oklahoma State beats West Virginia 27-13. And more games to come.
Yeah. Real quick, Louis, talking about BJ led the defensive tackles for the game. We talked about that. It was very, very important. Eagles showed up tonight and played really well. It had some really, really good blocks. Again, this is Brennan Eagles. As David said, Brennan Eagles is one of the reasons Texas won today. I agree with that.
100%.
But hey, y'all stick in there with us, man. Y'all stick in there with us. This was a tough one. But hey, we sweated it out all together. We know you're just as passionate as we are about Texas Longhorn football. Again, you win and you continue to move forward. But hey, we appreciate y'all listening as always. It's time for us to go watch a little college football. So hey, appreciate you listening.
Stress-free college football.
Yeah, you can find us on Twitter at TX Football Talk. You can find us on Facebook at Texas Football Talk, and you can find us on Instagram at Texas Football Talk. And again, we love talk content with y'all. We love your comments. Appreciate you.
Subscribe.
Welcome.